Welcome back to another edition of NCMC Athletics Talk Show. I'm your host, Lindsey Batson, here with another very special guest, Sarah Van Dyke. Sarah is the assistant softball coach of the Lady Pirates and the resident coordinator of the girls' dorm. She's been a part of North Central Missouri for 3 years now. Sarah, what are you looking forward to most this season?
I think that what I'm looking forward to most is actually having a season. I think we played 12 or 14 games last season, and we were in Myrtle Beach when everything kind of got shut down, and so I think that more than anything I'm looking forward to having a little of the normalcy. Is it normalcy a word? I think normalcy is a word. I think looking forward to having a little bit of the normalcy back of having a season and just being back on the field for sure.
Mm-hmm. What is the best thing about coaching for you?
I think that the best thing about coaching for me is probably the aha moments, if that makes sense. So, at this level of softball, you don't teach a lot. It's more, perfecting something or correcting something. I think it's the aha moment when you show somebody or one of the players something and it works and it just clicks in their head and you can see that it's clicked and it makes sense and that little thing, that little tweak that needed done worked. It's I don't know, it's a good feeling. It's one of those good feelings that it's nice to have, it's nice to see, and you can tell that you've actually made a difference and you did something to help that person that's going to benefit them.
Yeah. When did you decide that you wanted to be a coach?
That's a tough question. I don't know if there was necessarily a moment that I was like, I'm gonna be a coach. I was a marketing major, so it didn't really fit the the standard or whatever. But I remember when I was playing, my assistant coach was my sophomore year. And I actually wrote about this not that long ago for one of my classes. And my assistant coach, her car broke down or something like that. And so she didn't make it to the game. She couldn't make it to the game. My coach pulled me aside and she said, from here on out, you're my assistant coach. You're not a player. And I was, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm not playing. But she's like, no, you're going to be my assistant coach. Anything I say and what we talk about stays between you and me, blah, blah, blah. And I think then is when I knew that I had the ability to do it. I don't think it was necessarily a time when I was like, I'm going to be a coach. That's for sure my career path. I love it now. Now that I'm doing it, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's awesome to be, around all you guys all day and, get to be out on the field and do something that I've loved ever since I was a kid. I literally come to work and I love my job. It's not a job because I like what I'm doing. So I guess full circle is when I was playing, I guess, is when I knew I wanted to be a coach, or I knew I had the ability at least.
What advice would you give to someone like me who may want to be a coach in the future?
I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes and don't be afraid to speak up and be wrong with things. Because, even now, I've played softball my entire life. You've played softball your entire life. You think you know everything, and then you see it at a whole different angle as a coach, and you're like, well, I would do this, but it just doesn't make sense to do it that way. So I think, don't be afraid to change things up. Never be afraid to make a mistake or speak up or say what you think about something, because it's a learning process for you. It's a learning process for the head coach. Maybe he didn't see it as that, or maybe you saw something he didn't see. So I think speaking up, not being afraid to make mistakes is probably one of the biggest things I'd say, because I think even now I'm still learning. I still learn something every day, I think, but I think making mistakes, and it's just part of the process. It goes along with it for sure.
Has a student or player ever taught you anything?
Oh man, on a daily basis. I think it's broad. Not broad, I guess. It's a wide range of things that you guys teach me, I think. Yeah. But softball related, I would say so. Just because there's so many different things, things that I was taught when I was younger is something totally different than what you guys were taught when you were my age and learning the same thing. No, I don't know anything specific, I guess, but just in general, I think you guys do teach me stuff all the time. Like, and whether I know it or not, or whether I think of it right then or think about it later, I'm like, I didn't think of it that way. Or, and even there's been a point in practice where I did something and showed them how I wanted footwork done. And then they were like, but what about doing it like this? And it was one of those, it was an aha moment for me, kind of. I was like, actually, that's right. Like, I was backwards in what I was doing. Like, how I was explaining it made sense to me. But how you just explained it to me makes so much more sense than everybody else understands it. So I think it kind of goes back to that, making mistakes thing. Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes. You guys teach me, like you said, you guys teach me stuff all the time. Like, I can't pinpoint it, but it happens. I don't know it all.
Yeah. How is this year's group of girls?
Awesome. We have a really good group of girls this year, and you can't tell any of the other teams I've coached, but this is probably my favorite group. Hands down. It's not even probably. It's hands down my favorite group. You all come to practice every day, or they all come to practice every day, and they want to be there. They work hard. They want to get better. It's just a fun group, and they like to have fun, but they know when we need to be working, and they know that fine line between work and play and things like that. So yeah, I have a lot of fun with them. Coach Richmond and I have a lot of fun with them. Like, they're just a good group of girls, like on the field and off the field for sure.
Is your team ready to start playing?
I think beyond ready is what I should say. I think it gets to that point in a season when you're in the winter, and even when I played, it was like that too. You got to that point where you've been practicing for so long, stuck inside for so long. You're getting eager, like you're eager to play. I think that we're more than ready to play. Like I said, beyond ready. Ready to get it back out on the field. We won't touch the dirt until we go to Arkansas.
Yeah.
So, I think that we've done a lot of fundamental stuff in the winter, and I think that's really helped us. And even like the weight training and stuff like that we've done throughout, and you guys have done on your own, you can just see it like in the cage, and the pitchers with their pitching and stuff like that. You can see that it's helped, and I think that I think we can hold our own. I think we're ready to get out there and show everybody what we got.
Are there any goals that you have for this season?
Well, the region title is always a goal for sure. Getting through a full season without COVID getting in the way. Always a winning season. That's always a goal. And I think, more than anything, like, my goal is to walk away from this year hoping that I helped somebody. Like, I helped you guys. We did something. It's not always about softball. It's not. It's more than that. It's deeper than that, I guess, is what I should say. So, I guess my goal is to have made you all better people rather than just made you all better athletes and stuff like that. So I think that's probably always a goal, but definitely a region championship would be top notch for sure.
What are some things that your team will have to overcome to be successful?
Let's see. I think that one thing that we always struggle with, and I think a lot of teams do, not just us, is playing at our level. I see it a lot in general. I think in this fall I saw it anyways. Is that if we play a team that's under our level, or not quite up to par as we are, we like to kind of drop down, I guess not the best terminology for it, but we play at their level. So we have to keep up that pace, and we have to come out there, and play with all we have. Regardless if we think they're gonna sweep that team, whatever, we should play like we're gonna get our butts kicked, like every single time. Like, come out with that intensity every single time, regardless of who we're playing.
Well, thank you for being on the show this week, Sarah. I really appreciate it. The softball team kicks off in North Arkansas the 26th and 27th of February. Good luck to you, Sarah, and your team.
Thank you for having me.